Hello, good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on when and where you're seeing this. I'm very glad to see you again, and I'm very glad to talk about this tea because I found it very interesting. I bought this tea about 4 months ago, and I wanted to talk about it for quite a while, but I just didn't find it on myself to, just set up my little my little recording setup. I didn't feel very well, but today I felt like I had to put something out and I wanted to bring out a good tea to talk about. And this is what we have here. This is a tea that I consider good. This is a 2003 Youle round tea. Pu'er. Um, this tea comes from a relatively small producer because there's not a lot of information about it. I think the name of the factory, which was a very small operation, was something along the lines of like the 1,000-year-old tea tree Youle Mountain Tea Company, right? And well, you can just tell by the name. It's not Dai, it's not Xiaoguan, it's not like nothing from Taiwan. It's no Hao, it's not Hao, it's nothing like that. It's just a small traditional producer from Xishuangbanna. And early 2000s material from Xishuangbanna, it comes still from an era where a lot of tea was still being made in a relatively straightforward and workmanlike way. The boom of boutique teas wasn't still, on its full strength. And, there was still not that much concern in this era for future collectors or hype or anything like that. This was just before the brink that took place in 2004, which many still believe was a year in which poor tea quality from the large factories went down, right? So, Youle teas from this time tend to be on the gentler side when young, with a rather clear bitterness and a lighter structure than some teas from other neighboring areas of the six famous tea mountains. And they often age in a very quiet way and not as dramatically as, for example, some teas that come from, you know, stronger tasting areas, right? When drunk very young, those teas may taste very astringent or strong, but when mellowed out, they bring out this very wide mix of flavor. But teas overall from Youle tend to be from let's say like the Youle area, the six famous tea mountains. Tea from this area tends to be on the mellower side, right? So, at just over 20 years now, well, 20, 23, let's say 22 to 23, this tea has about 22 to 23 years. This tea sits in an interesting place, right? Because it's still decently aged. I'm not sure as to where. I think this tea was stored. I don't remember like right now where it was stored, but it was in a semi-humid area. But it has mellowed out just to the point where it has to be, right? So I still detect that characteristic taste from teas from this area, but of course, the aged character is there. It's undeniable. So that is what we're going to taste today. I'm going to provide you some notes. How it feels, if it's very sweet, if it's bitter, astringent, perhaps salty, and perhaps some notes of what I believe it may taste like this or that, this specific notes, and yes, we'll just have a good time with this tea. So allow me to set up my tea ware, and we'll be back. Very well. So I have warmed up my tea ware, and now we have the tea inside the guy one. Let me take a whiff of the dry leaf. Well, I can say that it has that. It's a little bit sweet, a tinge of fruity on the more dried side of things. I I always have a habit of comparing like this fruit taste in particular to like dried red dates or jujubes. And yes, it certainly has that scent. It has a strong like herbal scent beneath as well, which I find it to be very nice. So let's begin with the rinse of the tea. Let's give this just a quick rinse, just like 10 seconds. Let's read it here. Let's just let's just give it a bit of a rinse. There we go. Okay. There we go. We have a rinse. I'll just let the steam do a bit of the work inside of the guy one. Just pour this down here. Let me dry this. Okay. Very well. So now we have given the tea a bit of a rinse. The smell on the lid, a bit of aged scent. Some of those notes that I felt on the dried leaf, a bit fruity on the dry side, not very woody, but there's a notable sweetness there. And now let's go with the leaf itself. Yeah, it has that. It has that very herbal, rooty scent. Very nice. A characteristic of trees that are at least a bit old is that it has that scent. And you know, I once I gave one of my teas to my uncle so that he could smell it, and he compared that old tree scent for some reason to Bayram, right? To something like that. So, I mean, kind of something like that. Yeah, but it smells good. It smells clean, no funky smells. It's just sweet on a very gentle manner. So with that said, I have given a bit of the aromatic profile. Let's go into the taste in itself. Okay. I think this will do. Very well. Okay, so as you can see, it has a bit of a pale color to it. It's orangey, like paler than usual. It's not like super dark red. It's more on the orange side. Let me give this another whiff. Yes, it smells. It smells very good. It smells like it has that old tree scent. It's just a type of scent that, you know, you can have a very good pu'er made of younger trees, and it will not have this scent. It'll just be different. It's different, but this smell, once it comes from old tree, it's very grounded. It feels very heavy. It feels very dominant, but in a good way. It just forms a very strong base. That's just it's so good. Let's go ahead and pour myself a little bit of the tea. And as we can see, it's a bit on the more orange side. It's not super dark. I assume that perhaps it wasn't aged in a very humid environment, but it doesn't matter. It's just it just works out so well. And if you see the leaves, they are very good. I would say that they're very whole leaves, which is good because Sometimes I've had teas that are just like I have some pours that are not even like chopped leaf. It's just bits of leaf. And while I drink this first steeping, let me do a second steeping just to have that one on the way and to have it cool off a little bit as well. Here we go. Okay, there we go. Still an orangish, an orange-ish tone to the steepings. Perhaps it'll darken out, perhaps it'll lighten out. We'll see. I'll do like 5 steepings, perhaps. I don't want to overextend my time. I just want to give this tea the appropriate time, but I'll not talk an hour and a half about it either. Okay, so there we go. Youle, round tea, 2003. Let's taste it. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Very, very gentle. It's a tea that just introduces itself in a very gentle way. The the sweetness that I detected while I was smelling it is not as apparent in my palate, but there is a tinge of it. There's little to no bitterness at all. Little to no bitterness. Little to no astringency as well. Like the feeling is not there at all. Um, the old, the old tree taste is there. The huigan, the returning sweetness is very present. It's sweet, but in a very gentle manner. It's not like the certain strong teas that come from the other side of Xishuangbanna, when it comes from Bulangshan or perhaps Nanwushan, or if you go to a very different place, let's say you go to Wuliang, which is much further north of Xishuangbanna. It's in the northern areas of the production areas of Pu'er in Yunnan. It's on the northern side of things, and tea from Wuliang tends to taste a bit stronger as well. But this is like many other teas from the Six Famous Tea Mountains area, very gentle, very educated tea. It's good. It's very good. It has a lot of energy as well. Like, let me tell you, every single time I take a sip of this, I can just feel like many people call it a chachi, and yes, sure, I just like to call it like the how how vigorous the tea is. This is a vigorous tea. It has energy. So even though it is a tea that's not immediately strong, it's very very energetic. Yes, this is good. Let's go with the second steeping. Give me a moment to finish this steeping. Very well, Youle, second steeping on the way. And while I drink that one, I'm gonna brew the third steeping and have it cool off a little bit. Let me pour in some water. Okay, there we go. Very well. Second steeping. Let's see how it tastes. Yeah, it's kind of like a repetition of what I found on the first steeping, just perhaps a tad bit stronger. Still very good, very smooth, very enjoyable. This is a tea that anyone who is into Pu'er would like. Even if you're a person that's very into very ultra high end boutique teas, I think this is a tea that can find a place in your storage or in your pour on your Pu'er rotation. It can definitely find its place. It's not the high end tea, it's certainly not, but it is a very good example of what teas from Youle and on a broader spectrum teas from the six famous tea mountains area. Uh, it's a good example of how those teas taste, of the profile, and I find it to be a very enjoyable tea. Yeah, it's very smooth, very delicate. There's a bit of viscosity in the liquor. It's a bit viscous. Some people would say glutinous. It has a bit of that glutinous feeling, mouthfeel. It's quite good. Returning sweetness is it's very noticeable. It's good as well. Very well balanced tea, and it just tastes like old tree. Again, do I think, as the company's name states, that this tea is made of 1,000-year-old tea trees? No, no, there's no way. But it tastes like old tree. It has that taste. That taste is you cannot fabricate that taste. It's there. It's good. It's quite good. Quite good. Very well, into the third steeping. Let's go. There we go. And as I did before, I'll set up the next steeping. So let's see. There we go. Let me circle it. Let's wait just a little bit more. Let's leave it here. Okay, cool. Very well, let's have a taste. Okay, let's see. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. It's very good now. The tea has opened up a little bit, and if we continue with the next steepings, perhaps the tea will reach a point where it tastes a bit different, and this is the evolving nature of Pu'er. Right now, it has bloomed up a little bit. It's sweet, as I said in my first steeping, very sweet, not bitter at all, little to no astringency, mostly nothing, no astringency. But there's now this savoriness to it, umami, if you want to call it that way, that has appeared. It's a bit savory as well. It has that very let me find a very wild taste to it. It's very gamey in a very strange way, right? Very herbal. Mm, Particular notes that I have been able to pick up so far are red dates, wood on the darker side, it's a bit dark on that aspect. It's not a very light woody type of tea. I would say like the type of scent that you get from like old books as well. A bit of minerality as well, like very slaty. A bit of minerality. It's not super floral. No, I wouldn't say it's very floral. Mm, so yes, red dates, old books, different herbs, perhaps perhaps something like I'm gonna I'm gonna call it quits with this last steeping. I'll continue after finishing recording this, but because I mean you already got the gist. You think you understood. So yes, I was pleasantly surprised by this tea. I did not expect very much from it because it came from a very nondescript source, right? I didn't think much of it, but among all the tea I got, the tea samples I got, this one was one of the more notable ones, and perhaps I will consider acquiring some more of it because it's very decent. This one I got from Pu'er Northwest, which is a great page. Um, so if you want to try it yourself, you can go there and have a taste. I recommend this tea. I found it to be a very pleasant six famous tea mountains experience, and I yes try to taste it yourself. Get a bit of a sample, and see for yourself if you like it or if you don't like it. Because to each their own taste as well. Because perhaps you could have a tea like this and you could say, nah, I don't like it very much. It's just I don't like this tea's profile. I want a tea that's a bit stronger, and that's why you have to sample, right? Like buying just tea cakes, random tea cakes, is not a very good idea. So try to sample everything. This is just general advice for tea. If you ever get the interest, if you're listening to this for the first time and you have this interest in tea, just sample, keep it small, try a lot of things, and find out what you like. Perhaps you like a tea like this one. Perhaps you will like a tea that's from a different mountain in the six famous tea mountains area. Or perhaps you want a stronger, bolder experience from teas that comes from the other side of the Lancang River. Perhaps you want something from Bulangshan. Perhaps you want to try the oh so mythical Banchang teas. Perhaps you want Nanwoshan. Perhaps you just want a tea that's stronger on that aspect. There's a lot of tea out there. There's just so much out there. So have fun, enjoy it. And this one, as for this one, this 2003 Youle round tea, this one gets my seal of approval. This is a great tea. And with all that said, thank you very much for listening. It means a lot. I know I'm perhaps not doing like a ton today. I wanted to keep it very casual, just a bit conversational. I I wanted at first to make like something much more structured, but I then thought, people just want to they just want to hear my opinions in this, maybe. So yes, let's just give them opinions. So yeah, very good tea, very good tea. So once again, thank you very much for listening. Once again, if you want to check this out, I got this tea from Pu'er Northwest. Great seller, great prices. This is a great seller. They did a great job with everything with me, and I cannot recommend them more. So once again, thank you very much for listening, and I hope you have a great morning, afternoon, or evening. Bye bye.